Now I gotta ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to a very sunny November. Today, I have just picked up one of the most forgotten, maybe overlooked, slight hot hatches from Japan. This is a Daihatsu YRV Turbo 130, a car that, to be fair, I don't know a lot of us even know exists. So today we are going to go through this, going to go round it, going to go and drive it, see what it's like. They're readily available, sort of, on the market. Two and a half, £3 at the moment. Is it something you should go and have a look at? But we will try and go round and show you guys why I think this is already quite cool and why I think you should probably look at getting one, maybe? Because it's a Japanese hot hatch that no one knows about. 1.3 litre turbocharged, 127 horsepower, although it says 130 on it, these are about 127 horsepower from factory. And it was introduced in this era, you know, early 2000s into the UK market. Whether they did well or not, I can't quite find too much information on whether many numbers were actually done on these, but to my knowledge, there isn't too many out there. This one is a black one with the original decals, wheels, completely stock car this. We'll show you a few features that I absolutely love about this. Firstly being, the bumper has a little bit of body kit or lows on the front, as you can see, with these really cool spotlights at the front. Very Evo-esque, I'm going to say like an Evo 4-esque. Maybe even 5, but an Evo 4-esque front end with Daihatsu badging there in red. You also have this, I don't know, Japanese style, or at least I'm going to say it's a Mitsubishi styled bonnet vent just here. Again, something that you would probably find on a more performance orientated Evo of this generation, if not something hot. And I think that was their idea. They wanted to make something look a little bit hotter than the standard. You'll come around and see 15-inch alloy wheels as well from factory with these standard side skirts, which obviously look a lot more sportier than a factory car without them. You will also see, and I believe this was a completely factory sticker that was put up the side of every single one, mainly because I can't find one without the sticker. It says Turbo 130 just in the side there. These silver ones I actually found online, you could see it very clearly, but obviously this one being black, you can notice it not as much, but you can see it in the sun today. Now this, of course, aged a little bit. I will say, you're probably looking at it thinking, oh, it's a lot of dents and scratches in it. It was actually bought 4 years ago for a engine conversion into another car. The owner actually sort of fell in love with it and decided to use it for a family hauler between him and his sisters. That's why it is still on the road though, which is a fantastic thing. Now we'll come around the back to show you guys a few quirky bits around here. One of them being the spoiler, which is cool. Lexus style rear lights. Look at that. That is really cool. Again, a factory fitted rear light there, and this diffuser coming up with a twin exhaust. Again, a completely factory thing that these came with. Turbo badging on the side with the 130 in red. You've also got badging here as well, but it's actually a decal, which has aged gracefully, I'm going to say, at the back of the car. And I must admit, I know a lot of people out there may not understand this. I think it looks pretty cool. I think it looks sporty and different, but also small and convenient. All in one. We will go inside and show you guys the interior, because this era of Daihatsu was interesting as we come in. It was interesting because not a lot of people, I think, would look at this and think sports car. The first thing I will point out is, look at the dials. Now, I know this is a factory thing, but these look a little bit more sporty than I was expecting them to be. The blue with the orange and the red dial, really cool. 125,000 miles on this thing as well. We'll point that out. It's definitely been used, this one. Now, this one is an automatic variant, so it's a 4-speed auto. They did, I believe, come with a 5-speed manual, but not a lot of places seem to have those. I haven't actually noticed one online, a manual one. So maybe that's something very rare. You may not be able to actually find a manual version of this. Might be something that just didn't sell in the UK. A few things to point out though. Sporty bits. You have this steer button just here. This actually activates the buttons on the steering wheel. Yes, this era came with not flappy paddles, but it was flappy buttons, I'm going to say, to actually change gear through the gears. Now we will show you that a bit more in the driving portion. They actually work pretty well, which is nice. But ergonomically, and as you sit in this thing, everything's where it should be. AC, all the dials for the heating controls down here, ashtray, little cup holders just there. You can see a can of Pepsi in there. And to be fair, the interior is in pretty good condition considering the age and the mileage. It is actually worn incredibly well. No crazy bolster wear on any of the interior bits. Again, sorry about the sun, it's right there today, like literally right here. But yeah, not a lot of wear, if I'm honest. The interior is, over the years and over the miles, done a really good job of staying together. In the back though, as we gloss past my bag, there is actually loads of room. My seat is in a pretty far back position. There is still tons of room. Only 2 seats in the back, but there is a centre seat belt as well if needs be. And in the boot, again, this is a daily car, there is some things and stuff, but masses of space in the boot, like tons of space. Again, this is a pretty small car, so it's really cool that the designers went in and just made use of the size of the car and the space that they had to use. You also have this moonroof style sunroof, but it doesn't actually open, it's just a glass roof. As we actually come in and show you guys this, just move the car so you can see it properly. Oh, there we go. Nice little glass roof just at the front there. It doesn't go back, it doesn't move, but still a cool, quirky little feature. But enough of me yapping about this thing. Let's get on the road. Let's go and see what this thing is like and go and see what this 127 horsepower little Japanese hot hatch is like on the road. So the drive, 1.3 litre turbocharged, 127 horsepower. And what we've done straight away is put it in normal mode. There's no crazy sports mode or anything. The only mode that we can really put this in is steer sport, which is just here. It's actually just above the cigarette lighter, and it actually just pretty much activates the buttons on the steering wheel. Now 8.1 0 to 60 on one of these, so we'll show up that it's in manual 3 at the moment, so we'll go manual 2 turbo. Woo. Do you know, actually quite surprising how fast, or how direct, I'm gonna say, the actual gear change is on one of these. We'll keep it in sport steer, just come down up to a junction, second gear. Now I will say it's got 125,000 miles on it as well, and it's actually sort of a testament to the Japanese smaller cars, this sort of vehicle, for me to drive it you know, years on, nearly 20 years on from it actually coming out, this car, and how not necessarily refined, because they weren't refined from factory, they're just, you know, sub £10,000 cars. Second gear. Do you know, it actually gets going. That's genuinely surprising. I've got to sort of look down and find out where the buttons are though, because they're not actually at your thumbs, they're sort of lower down on the steering wheel, which is slightly odd, but I don't mind it. I sort of appreciate that they have at least tried to give you some sort of interaction and feedback. Put the wipers on, we're going through some puddles today. It's actually really torquey, 170 Newton meters of torque this little thing has got. And I know these numbers aren't crazy numbers, but because of its lightweight and its smallness, actually has a little bit of gap and go. Now interior wise, from the driving seat, we will turn off sport steering, put it into drive mode again, straight up into 4th gear, just relax. A lot of plastic. It is a Japanese car from the mid 2000s, you know, early 2000s, this, you know, say late 90s, early 2000s, these were sort of manufacturers, and, you know, they were designed and then started coming out. So you've got a lot of plastic, but it is worn really well. The plastic is very different to other cars though. It's Japanese plastic, and it, in my opinion, will actually last forever, this sort of plastic. But you'll see it in, I'm not going to say this out loud, but it's like an S15, the actual feel of the interior. It sort of feels out, but it's all still there at 125,000 miles and, you know, 19 years on. A lot of space in here. Space from the driver's seat, although you've got a little bit of intrusion from where the cup holders and stuff are down here, just on my, close to my knee. Apart from that, the seats are, you know, they're quite nice. I mean, you wouldn't want to do a massive long journey in it, but only because I'm very used to, you know, some luxury, bigger, quilted interiors, say, and I've got a bad back, some old man. But I do notice that the seat is a little bit stiffer than I was expecting it to be, especially at that mileage. I thought there could be a little bit more wear, but that's not a problem. We don't worry about that. I feel like you are, if you're actually after buying one of these, what a quirky, cool, underrated car to have. And I try and get a lot of underrated vehicles on the channel these days. And when I first saw this, you know, come up on my comments on Facebook, actually, if you haven't, add me on Facebook, follow me on Facebook. I'm always looking for cars to shoot. But this popped up, and I remember seeing one years ago. I'm talking like 15 years ago I saw all of these, and I was always so intrigued at why it said turbo up the side. And today I'm so glad that I finally driven one, because it is one of those weird want to drive cars I've wanted to drive. So I'm actually really thankful I'm able to drive this today and just bring you guys the content on it. I did have a little nose around, like, how much are these days, and considering they were sub 10 grand when they come out, you're still looking at about 2 grand to buy one. There is 2 on eBay at the moment, 2 silver ones as I'm shooting this, and one of them is 2 grand and one of them is 3.5 grand with a little bit lower mileage, but they're both silver. But they have the turbo graphics up the side, they have the turbo on the back, and to be fair, I don't think that's a bad shout. It is pretty quirky. It has got the space, but again, this is a small, not K car, but it's a smaller car from Japan, from this era. And you won't necessarily understand it if you're not into it. But I love Japanese stuff, and I'll always be up for driving a slightly hotter version of a Japanese car. And I must admit, genuinely, it has shocked me, this car. It has shocked me at how cool it is, how quirky, how fun, and just how much design and how much thought must have gone into this to actually get it right, considering for the price and for, you know, this being the entry into the UK. You know, when these first come into the UK, this and the coping was, you know, just sort of being introduced into the UK market from Japan, and I think they hit the nail on the head. It just didn't take off, I don't think. But thank you so much for watching today's video. If you did like it, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel. Tell me in the comments below, have you ever seen one of these? Have you ever delved into buying one? But thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.